Ladies and gentlemen, it's a big, weird, wild world out there, folks, and here we stand. Al pie del cañón, ready for anything. I'm Rob, that's Dan, and you're listening to
The ProBoh Show!
Good morning, everyone. It's Jueves. Pow, 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 pow. Finally, Dan, we made it. Can you smell that? Well, es esto? It's the weekend. Oh, my God. You're not going to be here tomorrow, right, Dan?
No.
Oh, pwah, pwah, pwah. Dan, the doctor-addicted man. So there will be no show tomorrow. That's what I'm getting at. There will be no ProBoh Show tomorrow, of course. You know, a common thing that I get, Dan, whenever you take whenever you're away, people say, pero casi no habla el tío, ¿por qué no? Puedes hacerlo programa. You know, Dan does more than just interject. He's the one who has the controls. He's in control of my microphones, all the sounds. We kind of need Dan. So when Dan's not here, we don't do a show. Sorry, guys. But fear not, over the summer, while everybody else is on break, Dan and I, and Fitz in his show, No Excuses, we will be staying live throughout the summer. So don't worry about that. Let's see who's joining us. How are you, by the way, Dan? How is everything?
I'm doing well.
Feeling good?
Yes.
Then I beg the question, why the hell are you going to the doctors tomorrow? No, I'm joking, dude. I'm joking. But you're feeling good. It's Thursday. What are your plans for the weekend? Because I'm not going to be able to ask you tomorrow.
I will go to a concert.
Yeah. Look at that. You can't come to work. No, I'm joking. What concert? Who are you going to see?
Depresión Sonora.
Sonic Depression.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, cool.
What are your plans for the weekend?
My plans for the week? Oh, dude, I have the best plans for the weekend. No plans. Oh, just hanging out with my beautiful girlfriend, who I think her mother is listening today. If my potential mother-in-law is listening, I love you. You're the best. Anyway, should we see what's coming up in today's show? In today's show, we're talking about work. Particularly the idea of working in a uniform. Un uniforme. Yeah, it's a tough one today. There's probably more nuance to this argument than you might think. Let's go through what we're going to be talking about today. Our 100 humans, we're going to ask them to name a job where you have to wear a uniform. Nombra un trabajo en el que tengas que llevar uniforme. And today's unpopular opinion is uniforms should be mandatory at any job. Los uniformes deberían ser obligatorios en cualquier trabajo. The reasons for that may not be evident on the surface. I'm sure you can all guess how they voted on Instagram, but we will get to that in a little while. First of all, I'm here, you're here, our analog listeners are here, our angelic podcast listeners are here, but most importantly, our amazing live audience is here. Let's see who's joining us. We've got Eugene from Russia. He says, hi guys, how you doing, Eugene? The Bridge is here. Good morning, my beautiful bonny bouncy bohemians, beautifully bouncy Bob, and darling dashing dandy, dutifully dexterous, or deficiently so, Dan, the radio dude. Jim Bridge. Can you just say good morning like everyone else? Mike says, good morning, dear bohemians. It's Jueves. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're not going to get the sound effect tomorrow. Wah, wah, wah. The Vero's here. She says, good morning, beautiful bohemians around the universe and beyond. Artemisa, good morning, Rob, Dan, the radio man, and all the charming, cheerful bohemians around the world. Happy Thursday. It is Thursday. Oh. All right, should we get into some news? By the way, if you want to be as cool, as sexy, as charming, as beautiful, as handsome, as influential, as intellectual as the people that I've just been reading, you can join us on twitch.tv/professional bohemian. That's twitch.tv/professional bohemian. You get to see me, the bald man. Dan, we need to get you a camera. We need to get you a... No, he's saying no. Please don't.
It's not necessary.
We need to get him a camera.
No.
We could even point the camera at the TV. Come on, Dan.
No.
It's just... I have to speak to your agent first, right? So if you do want to join us live, not only will you have access to express your opinions and ideas and have them vocalized by me, you can also see my big bald head. I look like an emoji in a suit, basically. That's that's the look I'm rocking today. All right, should we get into some news? I usually give you a choice, Dan. But I don't think so today. You seem quite rebellious with your direct no about the idea of a camera. Well, first of all, I'll kick off with some news someone sent me today. Remember in the lunchtime show yesterday, I was talking about... Andrea asked me if I stayed hydrated, if I drink enough water. And I said, well, at least a litre a day. And she said, coffee doesn't count. So I said, no, I don't. Well, someone sent me an article. It is from, it's from delish.com. Does coffee count towards your daily water intake? Here's what the experts say. Let me ask you a question, Dan. Does coffee count?
I guess in a small percent.
A small percent?
Yes.
So you're saying yes?
Well, coffee has water, right?
It does have water. It is my number one water ingesting method. Yeah. ¿Cuenta el café para tu consumo diario de agua? Is the question. Esto es lo que dicen los expertos. Staying hydrated is one of the simplest ways to support your health. And if you are a regular coffee drinker, here is the good news. Experts say coffee can count towards your daily water intake. Although caffeine has a mild diuretic effect, the water in coffee usually makes up for it, especially for people who drink it regularly. According to the article, this only becomes more of a concern at higher levels of caffeine, around 400 milligrams or more, which is roughly 4 cups a day. How many coffees do I drink a day, Dan?
Too much.
Too much, probably, yeah. And it depends. Look, the size of a cup varies from place to place, doesn't it? I mean, come on, Dan.
No, it doesn't.
It does. And not everyone drinks out of cups like this.
It's always a quarter of liter.
Oh, go to hell, Dan, with your common sense. The article also notes that up to 400 milligrams of caffeine per day is considered safe by the FDA for most people. Although caffeine... Oh, shut up! I feel so attacked by this article. Although coffee may not be ideal for everyone, including pregnant people and those with certain medical or sleep-related concerns, experts add that other drinks like tea and soda can also contribute to hydration, but sugary or highly processed drinks are not the best choice. How do you take your coffee, Dan? Con leche, without sugar?
With milk. I know, I add a little sugar.
You add a little sugar. Yeah. Yeah, the last time I saw you had a coffee, you actually spilt it down yourself. Your shirt drank more than you did. Where are we? Their practical advice is simple. Pair each caffeinated drink with a glass of water, especially in hot weather or around exercise. Dan and I, we're practiced at avoiding being around exercise, so it's all good. And start your day with water, not just coffee. Did you drink water this morning? Yeah, I see you drinking water. Yeah. I need to be better at staying hydrated, Dan. I'm not the best at that. The bridge here says, pregnant people? Yes. I mean, we could state pregnant women if you want, bridge, if that's a deal for you. But I think it's implied in the word pregnant. We're talking about women, isn't it? Let's see. Do you want some actual news? Have you heard about the drug Ozempic, Dan?
No.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
Well, maybe, but I don't know what does it do.
It's a weight loss drug.
Okay.
Yeah. So you've heard of it. I think most of us have heard of it. Probably you pronounce it Ozempic here. Ozempic. It's kind of popularized in Hollywood right now because we hear about Ozempic face, where people look gaunt and extra skinny. But it has helped change a lot of lives. People suffering with obesity, people with real medical concerns being guided towards Ozempic as a potential cure or help. We did talk about Ozempic in a previous show in an unpopular opinion. And I think we all kind of lent on the idea that it is probably a net good, isn't it? To help people control or, well, manage their weight. Let's put it that way. Well, there's an interesting side effect to Ozempic, apparently. This is coming from Gizmodo. Scientists find an intriguing link between Ozempic and violent behavior. Los científicos encuentran una intrigante relación entre Ozempic y el comportamiento violento. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, Dan. Let's see if you can get this one right. Do you think Ozempic makes people more or less violent?
I would say more.
You think more?
Yes.
I want my Mars bar, so I'm going to smash someone's face in. It's actually the opposite. Apparently, it helps with impulse. It helps with impulse control. Apparently, that is what they are finding. Although it's only a very early finding, that is something that they're seeing. A new study suggests GLP-1 drugs such as Ozempic may do more than reduce appetite and help with weight loss. Researchers at Rutgers University found that among people currently taking these medications, the link between impulsivity and violent behavior appeared to be much weaker than it was among former users. The findings add to growing evidence that GLP-1 drugs may affect reward processing, cravings and stress regulation, and behavioral control, not just metabolism. Fascinating. Is this drug potentially helping people stay calm, control their impulses? I mean, look, I will throw my hands up and say, I have an impulse control problem. When it comes to the idea of eating ice cream or not, I'm definitely leaning on the eating ice cream side. In what, Dan, do you struggle to control your impulses? Social media. And no, you're doing well there, aren't you?
No, but I want to know that 0 means that I control it perfectly, or the contrary.
No, like I want to know where you struggle to control your impulses.
Social media.
Yeah, social media.
No.
Yeah, I was like that. I've managed to completely tame that beast now. Although I've got to be honest, now managing the Vaughan Radio social media account, I'm exposed to more Instagram than I used to be, and it's I'm starting to see those old demons creeping back. Anyway, let's continue. That said, the researchers are clear that this is only an early finding, not proof that these drugs directly reduce violence or prevent crime. The study was observational, which means it can show a pattern but not a cause and effect relationship. It's interesting. So it's not they're not sure that it's a causal relationship, that Ozempic causes calm behavior. It could be that people just lose weight and are happier with their new life and new body and new impulses. Could be that. The study was observational, so there you go. Still, the results open an intriguing new line of research into how widely used GLP-1 medications may influence human behavior in ways scientists are only beginning to understand. I'll just say this. If a side effect of these drugs is that you're calmer and happier, dude, win-win, isn't it? All right, on that note, friends, let's go to today's unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion.
Let's just very quickly get into some comments I received about the news. Mike Warrior says, what do you have all those red bottles for, Rob? Yeah, I know, I leave them at home now. Work, the new boss put a water fountain in. And since the water fountain has been there, I've been like, well, I don't need to bring water from home anymore. And now I drink no water. Yeah. Vero says, I take my green tea with a bit of cold milk and a spoonful of sugar. Does it count as drinking water? I think so, Vero. Rosa's with us. Hi, guys. How are you doing, Rosa? Isn't Ozempic a treatment for type 2 diabetes? Interesting. Yeah, they do use it to help control... control weight, I think. Anyway. All right, thanks for that, Artemisa. All right, let's get into today's unpopular opinion, which is uniforms should be mandatory at any job. Los uniformes deberían ser obligatorios en cualquier trabajo. What do you think, Dan?
False.
You think false. How do you think they voted on Instagram?
False.
You think they voted false as well? Sorry. No, let me just open it up. 71% of people said false, Dan. And you, I imagine, are coming at this from the aspect of, work already controls enough of my life. Why do they need to tell me how to dress? I want to express my individualism, things like that, I imagine, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Did you wear a uniform at school?
No.
I did.
Well, I did until ESO. I mean,
until you went to a higher education.
Yes.
Why do you think they make kids wear uniforms at school, Dan?
To
increase perhaps equality? Where you reduce visible differences between rich and poor students, at least in theory, right?
Yes.
Maybe less social pressure as well. Students are less likely to compete over brands and fashion trainers, expensive clothes.
Well, to be sincere, I thought it was because of some way of elitism.
At least, like I went to my high school was in Bradford. At that time, a very violent place and very underfunded educational system. But we had to wear uniforms. And I was just as anti-establishment then as I am now. And I used to ask that question, and these were the answers I was given. Less likely to compete over brands, fashion trainers, expensive clothes, when, a big portion of the student body couldn't afford that. So to increase equality and lessen social pressure, And then, of course, this create a sense of belonging and community. Is that less necessary as an adult? Is that less necessary as an adult? I can't tell you how much easier my mornings would be if I just slipped on a onesie, my Vaughan onesie, and just walked into the office. Rather than having to pick through my own clothes and decide what message I want to send. Because that's what it is, isn't it? Essentially, the way you dress is communication. I mean, we'd all like to think we don't judge, but we do, don't we, rationally? Yeah, I don't know. Fewer distractions. Clothing becomes less of a daily issue so students can focus more on lessons. I mean, in the work environment, do we not need fewer distractions? Easier mornings? I don't know. Seems to me that a lot of the reasons applied to the school rationale for wearing a uniform could apply to all of our jobs. However, we see it as an infringement on our privacy. Let's get into it. You were right, Dan. Most people, 71% voted false. I imagine that will shift through the show, but we'll take that as read for now. So in the con column, which I didn't add to my thing, my bad. 1 second, you're going to have to give me a second here just to open up the pros and cons. Yeah, interesting. So you had to, what age did you stop wearing a uniform, Dan, if you don't mind me asking?
I think 12 years old.
About 12, okay. All right, let's get into the cons. Mandatory uniforms everywhere is a bad idea. Clothing is one of the most common forms of self-expression. Removing that freedom can feel unnecessary and restrictive. I mean, doesn't employment already require certain compromises in behaviour and appearance anyway? I mean, in this company, we can't wear shorts. I'm sure if I came in a ripped t-shirt or with some kind of slogan that the company disapproved of, I would be asked to remove it. I mean, there are already rules in place, right? Different jobs have different needs. A software developer, artist, academic, and accountant may gain little from wearing the same type of standardized clothing. I mean, look, a police officer doesn't wear the same uniform as a cleaning lady, do they? So that argument is mute for me. Moot. Sorry, not mute. Moot. Obviously the uniform would adapt to the job that the person is undertaking. It can feel unnecessarily authoritarian. Requiring uniforms in every workplace may prioritize conformity over autonomy. Look, many workplace rules exist to support professionalism and cohesion, and I don't see how wearing a uniform is any different to that. Uniforms can be uncomfortable or impractical. Standardized clothing may not fit every body type, climate, or personal preference. Look, again, I'm not suggesting everyone wears the same exact uniforms, right? Professionalism doesn't require identical clothing. Millions of people work effectively in offices with dress codes rather than uniforms. Dress codes, I'm sorry to say this, is just one step down the ladder from a uniform. Salespeople, you have to wear suits. Okay, well, how is that different from a uniform? It sounds exactly the same as what they used to tell me in school, except everyone wore the same tie and the same colours. It solves a relatively minor problem. For many jobs, clothing is not a significant source of conflict or inefficiency. But small improvements in clarity and consistency can still have a cumulative benefit, can't it? The idea that one source of friction in the workplace, which might be how come that person earns way more than me that they can afford that watch, those trainers, that brand of jeans, that is wiped off the table when everyone is wearing the same thing. Or don't we believe in equality? Woo! Jeezy Louise, Dan, I'm on fire today. Took it to an equality place. Let's get into the pros, shall we? Where 39% of people voted today. Is that right? Let me just check that. The votes do shift while we are live. No, 29% of people. Sorry, my math is all wrong. Okay, so uniforms reduce visible differences in wealth, fashion sense, and personal style, creating a more level playing field. People will often find other ways to signal status, though, won't they? A watch, glasses. But still, let's not let the perfect be the enemy of the good. It would eradicate a big difference in wealth and class, which I think is always a net benefit, isn't it? It'll simplify daily decisions. Employees don't need to think about what to wear each morning, reducing decision fatigue and saving time. If you've got a uniform, your private clothes can be your private clothes. You take that uniform off. I remember the first thing I did when I got home from school. When you wore a uniform, what was the first thing you did when you got home from school, Dan? I'd imagine strip that uniform off, put on a t-shirt and some jeans, and get on with your outside life. Symbolic of that portion of your day being over. One thing that annoys me about the modern workplace, Dan, is that you take your work with you, don't you? Your work emails live on your phone, so does your Teams messages. You're constantly connected. Another symbolic way to just draw a line between personal and professional, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it? And I think perhaps taking off that uniform might be a good way of delineating that. So simplifying daily decisions creates professional identity. Uniforms can foster a sense of belonging, teamwork, and shared purpose within an organization. Look, how many of these god-awful team-building exercises, corporations already want that, don't they? They want social cohesion. And that's probably not necessarily a bad thing, isn't it? Even though I hate these kind of team-building nonsense. Corporate horoscope, what kind of personality type do you have? Crap. But companies already seem to highly value that. Wouldn't a uniform in some way go to feed that idea? Reduces dress code disputes. A standard uniform eliminates ambiguity about what is and isn't appropriate in the workplace attire. Do you remember, Dan, when that email went round about what you can and can't wear? What happened? Explain to our listeners.
Everyone thought that it was BS.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone thought it was BS. And it caused, for at least 2 or 3 days, no end of complaints. Dan and I live in the psychologist office of the company because it's soundproof. People come in there to complain. And yeah, wouldn't it be nice not to have those kind of discussions? Well, look, this is what you wear and that's that. You know, there are other benefits, probably not as important, makes employees easy to identify, encourages focus on work rather than image. I think all those things are completely valid arguments, but what I'm interested in is what you guys have to say. What do you guys have to say? Where do we draw the line at equality? It's an interesting vehicle to really get into that question. Does our freedom of expression really extend to our clothes, or are you like Dan and I? We reach for the closest t-shirt and hobble our way into the office at 7 a.m. Interesting. Guys, I will post a poll in the chat. Uniforms should be mandatory at any job, true or false, and I'll ask you to vote. I'll see you in a few minutes. Hey guys, if you'd like to support the show, you can do so on Patreon. That's patreon.com/professional bohemian. There you'll find VODs of the episodes as they are recorded live, blogs, vlogs, and behind-the-scenes content. If you'd like to watch the show live, you can do so on twitch.tv/professional bohemian, and you can participate in the polls we use in the show on Instagram @professional bohemian or Twitter @ProBoh, PROBOH. Okay, on with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. It's now 9 a.m. and you're listening to me and Dan live on this, the 18th of June. How are you doing out there, folks? Hopefully well. It's Thursday, tomorrow is Friday, and we stumble headfirst into the weekend. Thank God. Don't forget, there will be no live show tomorrow. Dan's not in. You will hear me throughout the day interjecting in the shows because I'll be doing Dan's job. Not as well as Dan, but I'll be doing it all the same. All right, should we get back into the show? What did you miss? I was sent an article about coffee. Apparently, drinking coffee does count as your daily intake of water. Although it is a diuretic, the water in the coffee does usually make up for it. So there you go. If you're a heavy coffee drinker like me, you are staying hydrated. Good for you.
The same for alcoholics.
That's an interesting question. No, alcohol can't count for water intake, can it?
Why not? Doesn't it have water?
I mean, I suppose. In that case, Fitz, our Irish friend, is the most well-hydrated person in the office. And then we looked at an interesting link scientists have found, according to this Gizmodo article. An interesting link between Ozempic, the GLP-1 weight loss drug, and violent behavior. It may be that you think, okay, well, maybe because people are controlling their diet, they get more angry, but apparently, no, the opposite. It helps with impulse control, apparently. Behavioral control, stress regulations, cravings, reward processing, and it actually reduces violent behavior. Fascinating stuff. Not that I would ever suggest, putting people on drugs to control violent impulses, but still, it is an interesting finding nonetheless. And then we moved into today's unpopular opinion, which is uniforms should be mandatory at any job. Los uniformes deberían ser obligatorios en cualquier trabajo. Went over several things, right? Why school kids wear school uniforms. You were saying here, Dan, that here in Spain it's seen as quite elitist, right?
At least in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is that because usually it's the best schools, the private schools that have uniforms and normal state schools don't?
No, I think every school has uniform.
Okay, because in the UK, I don't think you'd necessarily link the idea of wearing a school uniform to class. Because, most schools have a uniform. School uniforms are justified because of, well, at least when I was a kid, equality, to reduce visible differences between rich and poor students. I don't see how that doesn't apply to employees as well. Less social pressure. Students are less likely to compete over brands, fashion, trainers. I don't see how that doesn't apply. I've seen that play out in offices. You know, I've even done it, engaged in it myself. Fitz buys a new pair of trainers. I'm like, oh my God. Those are nice. School identity uniforms create a sense of belonging to the school community. How many endless team building sessions do we need to be engaged in? Dude, I'll tell you what now. I would rather wear a school uniform than have to play another crappy team building exercise. And pretend I enjoy being out of the office. Like the one thing I want at work is to be left alone to do my work. Yeah.
You know who else has to wear a uniform?
Go on, tell me.
Convicts and McDonald's employees.
Yeah, and so do police. So do doctors. So do firefighters.
1984.
So do, this is the thing. I think we identify, Dan, you've actually nailed it here. I think we identify being made to wear a uniform with some kind of authoritarian action. We don't link it to equality across the classes in an organization. And I find that personally fascinating. Why we lean towards the rule makers and not what the rules are intended for. Don't get me wrong. Like, as the vote finished, the vote still might be live, so I don't want to express too much my own opinions. You've got 2 minutes left to opine on this. But yeah, I mean, okay, will it affect discipline in schools? Is there some kind of a disciplinary reason for wearing uniforms? I think schools would argue that uniforms help create a more serious, focused atmosphere. Don't you want to foster that at work as well? You know? I don't know. It seems to me that in many workplaces, a lot of the things that happen in schools that are mitigated by the school uniforms are the same. You try to tell me that bullying doesn't happen at work? We covered this in a previous show. Of course it does. I mean, the less someone is judged by wearing unfashionable or cheap clothing, the better, I think. You know? I don't know. It just seems to be that the rules apply across the board, but for children it's good and for adults it's bad. Right? And I'm not sure that's the case. And yes, it is true that we link the idea of being forced to wear a certain thing with some kind of authoritarian, oh my God, they're trying to control me. But is it really that bad? If you're a nurse, you're very used to it. If you work in a hospital, you're very used to it. If you're a firefighter, a police officer, you're very used to it.
But you have to differentiate that your uniform has an utility or don't.
Okay. Yeah, but in every job, I'm not suggesting that you have to wear a doctor's outfit if you're a sound technician. You know what I mean? I mean, I mean, a lot of uniforms are utilitarian. I'll give you that. Security guard, probably not, right? Or except to identify them as a security guard. A chef's uniform is really just to keep the dirt and grime off their whatever they're wearing underneath. A pilot's uniform, no utilitarian real, only to identify them as a pilot, really. Firefighters, soldiers, police officers maybe have utility in their uniforms, but a nurse really doesn't. You know? Not all uniforms are there, because it helps in engaging in the job. A lot of them are there just to identify the people as who they are. Is that any less relevant in a place of work? I don't necessarily think so. But it's interesting. I did warn you guys that this did seem like quite a glib subject, but there is a lot to dive into with this. I'm going to go and pay a bit of attention here to our live audience and see what they have to say. False, says Vero. Some jobs don't require wearing a uniform. Why should it be mandatory? Well, I guess for the reasons that I outlined in comparing workplaces to schools, I don't think there is any real difference. We adults, right? We adults we want to separate ourselves from children, but are we really that different? We hopefully by our age have better impulse control. But still, people experience bullying. There are different classes, different economic strata Some people can afford something and can't afford another. Is it fair that it be put on display in the workplace? Probably not, right? Bridge here says, I'm totally in favour of uniforms at school. However, I have noticed here in Spain, the idea is that it is elitist because only private schools use them. They are the best for schools. Yeah, I think so too. Which begs the question, why aren't they the best for work as well? I mean, okay, one interesting argument that I heard yesterday, I was talking to my beautiful girlfriend about this. And she said, well, what if you were working for a company that was going through problems in the press? So imagine, like, I don't know. I don't want to name any companies so as not to get into trouble. Imagine you worked for some kind of pharmaceutical company and it was found out that they were, price gouging people. And you had to walk around with your pharmaceutical company logo on your shirt. Perhaps it would not be beneficial in those cases, right? Gigi says, I wouldn't mind having to wear a uniform as long as my employer provided it. There's a great thing, isn't it? Because here's a caveat I would make. I would make the same caveat. As long as Vaughan provided the uniform, I will wear whatever the hell Vaughan wants me to wear.
I thought it was already established that, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, in a school, you have to buy your own uniform, don't you? Your parents have to buy it. And I was kind of drawing the parallel with school, so I imagine that. But I'm not sure. Do police people have to provide their own uniform? It's provided for them, I think, right? I know a nurse's scrubs. I'm not sure about that either. Sorry, I have to claim ignorance on this one. But yeah, if as long as the company is providing the uniform, I will wear whatever the hell they want. Here you go. Give me a new pair of sneakers any day of the week. It would mean no more wasting time every morning staring at my wardrobe, deciding what to wear. Gigi is speaking directly to my soul here. However, I'd go with false. Making it mandatory for every single job is too much. Can we get Gigi a ProBoh approved, please? I like that comment.
ProBoh approved.
Dude, as long as the company is paying me. If you want me to be a walking billboard for the company or wear a certain outfit, go ahead. As long as you're providing that outfit. And yeah, I would embrace the idea of not having to care every morning about what it is I have to wear. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, Dan. I don't. It takes me no more than 5 seconds to pick my daily outfit. Eugene says false, but female nurses and flight attendants have to wear a uniform, and it's sexy. Oh, Eugene took it there, didn't he? But that's another one, Dan. Flight attendants, they wear uniforms, and it's not utilitarian in nature. It doesn't help them any more or less do their job. Artemisa, I've always liked uniforms. They help people feel part of a group, whether they're children at school or adults at work. And if the company provides a uniform, as happened in my case, that's even better. I'm a true today. Yeah. Have we shifted your needle at all? You were very much a false. Have we shifted your needle at all, Dan?
No, only if it has utility. If it doesn't, I don't think it will be mandatory.
Okay, yeah. That's interesting. Let's get to some comments I received on Instagram with regards to this one. Antonio Ribeiro, how are you doing, Antonio? First time writing to us, says, honestly, I like the idea. It removes a lot of unnecessary decisions and makes workplaces feel more professional. Gemma Walsh says, sounds excessive. Why would someone working remotely or in a creative field need a uniform? If you're, Gemma, dunk your head in some cold water a second. If you're working at home, more than likely, you're in your pajamas. Let's not pretend otherwise. Or in a creative field, if you're a painter and decorator will wear, not a onesie, I can't remember what the proper term is, but an overall. There you go, overalls. How do you say an overall in Spanish, Dan? Es como un traje, pero los pantalones y la chaqueta están atados uno al otro.
Un peto.
Un peto se llama.
I think so, yes.
Sí, estás pintando y tal.
El de Mario Bros. Un peto.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah. So you're wearing overalls, more than likely, right? Because if you're in a creative field, you're going to get dirty, probably. Or if you're writing, possibly not, but anyway. Mateus, Robleski. Yeah, wow. That's a hell of a name, Mateus. So let me try and at least read what you've written properly. Uniforms can create a sense of equality. Nobody's trying to outdress their co-workers. Yeah. Yeah, why not? Why is that such a bad thing, Mateus? Why do people immediately link it to authoritarianism and not to equality? It's an interesting question for me. Finally, we'll finish off with this one. Sabine Fournier. I should stop trying to pronounce these names. Sabine says, they make sense in some jobs, but making them mandatory everywhere feels like a solution looking for a problem. Oh, I love that. Let's give her a ProBoh approved too.
ProBoh approved.
In one line, she's completely debunked today's unpopular opinion. Feels like a solution looking for a problem. Wow. I mean, problems do exist. I mean, we have tackled workplace bullying and things like that, haven't we? Was it this week or last week? I know I got a real nice message from a listener. I'm not going to name them. Outlining a little bit of their work history, and because they were a little older in the workplace, they had to deal with quite a bit of bullying that was probably, when they were younger, they would have felt more mobile and more able just to switch jobs. But once you get past the age of 45, you feel like you just need to agarrar, you need to hold on to that job as tightly as possible, because the employment market is not kind for older people. Anything that can go to mitigate any snap judgments people might make about you and your private life, I think is for the net benefit of society, isn't it? Isn't it? The fast fashion industry, clothes falling out of favor season to season, people going out and causing unknown harm to their... I know people get annoyed when I make ecological kind of arguments. But it's true. Look at the toll, the human toll in fast fashion, and then the ecological toll of the garments that go unworn. I can't remember what fashion brand it was, but you know what they do? If they don't sell items, they don't give them to the poor or the needy or anything like that. They don't even put them in a landfill. They burn them to protect the brand, so no one can get their clothes cheaply. Isn't that disgusting? I don't know. Anything to bring a little control to that industry, I think would be a good thing. Shall we get to the results of the poll, Dan? You have been left unaffected by today's opinion, so let's get into it and see if our friends in the chat have been convinced. Uniforms should be mandatory at any job. You guys said 60% false. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, interesting. The chat, the Instagram has remained largely unchanged, 71% false. We did bring that back a bit. Okay, now we'll get into my honest opinion. I hate the idea of wearing a uniform. Would I do it, though, if the company demanded it? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because I can see the rationale. I have always been a little bit leaning towards the rebellious. I had earrings when I was younger, long hair. Like Dan, I would usually come into work wearing a band t-shirt. In fact, the only difference is now I wear a blazer over it, if I'm honest with you. I hate the idea of being told what to wear. I think that should be my decision. However, I can see the cracks in my own thinking. And I don't know whether this is a consequence of age. I do understand the benefits of uniforms and why we wear them, and how in schools it goes to aid in equality. And I do have a problem with fast fashion. And I think if there was a uniform provided by work and people didn't have to engage so much in buying clothes, I think that would be a benefit too. Your workplace shouldn't be a fashion contest, should it? But you know all those, friends, those are opinions. And you know what Grandpa Bo says about those, right? He says, Rob, opinions, they're like buttholes. Everyone has one. They all stink, including mine. Let's move on to today's 100 Humans. Oh my God. It was a long walk to work today across snow-capped mountains and through river valleys, and on that walk I encountered 100 humans and I asked them all a question. Today's question was, name a job where you have to wear a uniform. Nombra un trabajo en el que tengas que llevar uniforme. That's today's question. Dan, kick us off. A job where you have to wear a uniform.
Fast food employee.
Fast food employee. You're just stuck on the idea of McDonald's workers, aren't you?
And Burger King.
And Burger King. Is a fast food worker there? No, it's not. Sorry, Dan. I'll give you a clue. I did mention each and every one of these in a section of the unpopular opinion. All right. Big thank you to Carlos Nuriegar, Emily, Lau Sweden, Ivan GP, MP Contel, GD Andres, Carmen, Ana Casan, Juan Arreo, Ivan Samroff, Trip, and many, many others. Thank you. All right, let's get into it. In our chat, let's have a look what they're saying. Mike says, a soldier. Soldado. Soldiers. Do soldiers wear uniforms? Yes, they do. Well done. It's there. It's actually the third most popular answer, with 12 of 100 humans saying soldier. Eugene in the audience, he says a police officer. Policia. Is a police officer there? Yes, it is. Well done. Police officer is there. 43 of 100 humans said police officer. It's the number one answer. Eugene for the win. Gigi says priests and nuns. Carlos also says priest. Is that a job? Is priest a job? I don't think priest is a job, is it? Is priest a job? Would you say priest is a job, Dan?
Well, I guess in some way they need money to live, so in some way they will get it.
I'm not sure you classify as a job, though. You don't go to, you know what I mean? If I go on LinkedIn now, I'm not going to see many job offers for priest.
They are getting paid, so
yeah. It's hard to think. Because is there anything comparable? No, not really. Because I don't know. Sorry, I don't want to get too bogged down. If
even
priests,
volunteers at ONGs, I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, at charity places
are
of charity.
being paid, so
That's true. All right, so priest or nun is not there. Sorry. Pwa, pwa, pwa. Medical staff. Medical staff, says Gigi as well. I'm going to give it to her. Yeah, why not? Yeah, not all medical staff is there, but a nurse is. Enfermero or enfermera. 16 of 100 humans. It's the second most popular answer. Pope, says Vero. Come on, Pope's not a job, is it? Firefighter, says Vero. Firefighters. Is firefighters there? Bombero or bombera? Yes, it is. And we are joined in the studio by Mr. Fitzgerald. How are we doing, Fitz?
Good morrow, sir.
How are you doing?
Yourself, good?
Yeah, not too bad. I can't complain. Today we're asking to name a job where you have to wear a uniform. We're actually in a debate there, Fitz, whether priest is a job. I'm not sure priest is a job, is it?
Well, I suppose maybe it's a vocation, but, it's a job.
I go on LinkedIn. I don't see many job offers for priests.
No, actually. No, maybe they should, because I hear they're having trouble recruiting, so,
Okay, let's dive back in. Vero says doctors. Doctors is not there. Wah, wah, wah. Here's a great one from Mike. Something I don't think you get in Spain. An ice cream man. Yeah. Are you like me? We both have the weakness for the old ice cream.
And, the whipped ice cream in the cone.
Yeah, with a flake.
With the flake, the 99.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I miss those. Soft serve, don't they call it?
Soft serve, yeah.
Great answer, Mike, but sadly not there. Let's take a very quick look at our friends on Instagram. Nuriga says dentist. Emily says doctor as well. She also says police, doctor, sanitation workers. All great answers. Police officer, Ivan. GP, nurse is a very popular answer here. MP Contel, Carmen, Juan Arreo, Anakasan. Also doctors, police, GD Andres. A lot of you interacted today. Maintenance workers, I like that. That's from Juan Arreo. He also said soldier. Law enforcement, says Tripsky. Ivan Samrov, police. Among some of the most common answers there, Emily does say a firefighter, bombero, bombera. Did someone else say that? I think they did, didn't they? Well, if not, it is there. Bombero is there. Well done, well done. All right, airplane crew and pilot, says Artemisa in the live audience. Is a pilot there? Piloto. Yes, it is. Well done. Oh, guys, are we rapidly approaching the end? We are. Oh, I'm going to have to go through the list because I do want to chat to my friend Fitz here. Some other answers in the audience here is chef. Chef is there. Well done. Sixth most popular answer with 6 of 100 humans. There was just one that you didn't identify. Let's go through the list. Okay, so when I asked 100 humans, nombra un trabajo en el que tengas que llevar uniforme, where you have to wear a uniform, in position number 7, we had a security guard, vigilante de seguridad. You missed that one. 4 of 100 humans. In position number 6, chef. Chef. In position number 5, piloto, pilot. In position number 4, firefighter, bombero or bombera. In position number 3, soldado, soldier. 12 of 100 humans said that one. In position number 2, we had a nurse. 16 of 100 humans with nurse. And finally, in position number 1, with 43 of 100 humans, we had police officer. Well done. And there we go. There we have it, friends. We're into the last minute of the programme, but do stay tuned. You've got this man who sat right in front of me. Fitz, what's coming up today, Fitz? Who are you joined by?
I am joined by Mammon, Sylvia, Pilar, Ramiro. Ramiro from Ecuador, who comes in the second half. And Marisa.
Okay, do stay tuned, guys, because No Excuses is one of our flagship shows, and that's coming up right after me. Do remember the Vaughan Radio Instagram. You'll find pictures of us all as children on there, the last post. So I hope you seem to all very much enjoy that. Guys, I will see you this afternoon with the Lunchtime Show, and see you next time.